I first met Thomas beneath the wisteria arbor in my grandmother's garden, the air heavy with purple blossoms and promise. He stood tall in his neatly pressed shirt, a playful grin on his lips as he offered me his hand. "May I have this dance?" he asked, though no music played. I laughed, enchanted by his confidence and warmth. We twirled under the fading sun, my laughter mingling with his. My grandmother watched from the porch, her eyes steady and knowing. Later, she pulled me aside. "Sherry," she said softly, "some flowers burn brightest before they wilt." I brushed off her warning, certain that love would conquer all. Over the next months, Thomas courted me with letters scented of pine and ambition. He spoke of a future by the sea, children's laughter echoing in sunlit rooms, and me, teaching literature to eager minds. I preserved each letter in a scrapbook, a testament to our fairy tale in progress. On August 12, 1973, in the white-clapboard St. Agnes Chapel, I pledged my life to Thomas. Candlelight flickered across stained glass as I slipped a golden ring onto his finger. When we danced at the reception under twinkling lights, he whispered, "Forever, and I believe." The honeymoon glow lasted a year, morning coffees in the sunroom, lazy Sundays by the riverbank. Then, one spring afternoon, the first crack appeared. I spilled tea on the new rug. Thomas stormed into the kitchen, face contorted. The mug flew from his hand, its scalding contents splattered at my feet. When I recoiled, his palm struck my cheek. Time slowed, I tasted blood and disbelief. He collapsed into regretful tears, kissing my cheek as though that would erase his violence. My heart splintered in two, the man I loved, and the stranger who had struck me. I hid the bruise from my mother, blaming it on an accidental fall. But every morning when I saw its deep purple blossom, shame mingled with fear. On November 5, 1974, Caleb was born, red-cheeked, wailing in my arms. Thomas wept, cradling our son like a treasure. For a fleeting month, the storm clouds retreated. Thomas hovered, humming lullabies, changing diapers with precise care. But the calm was brief. One morning over oatmeal, Caleb balked at a spoonful. Frustration etched into Thomas's face, he flicked the spoon, and the back of his hand caught Caleb's cheek. The boy's scream shredded my heart. Thomas scooped him into his arms, kissing away the tears, but I saw the damage etched in Caleb's widening eyes. Hope receded again. Fear settled into our home like dust. I tiptoed through rooms, hyper-aware of Thomas's shifting mood. Caleb began to sleep on a mattress in the living room, too frightened to return to the nursery, where echoes of violence lingered. Thomas cut me off from family, no calls, no visits. He controlled the finances, leaving me scraping by on coupons and thrifted bargains. One Sunday, I stood outside the church doors, yearning for sanctuary. When Thomas refused to let me attend service, I did the unthinkable. I left home and walked into the morning light, seeking refuge in faith. Under dawn's pale glow, I led Caleb to the church shelter across town. Its worn steps felt like hope itself. Margaret, the matron, wrapped us in warm blankets and served hot cocoa. Caleb's sobs loosened, he curled into my arms, eyes heavy with relief. Shelter life was communal, 3 mothers shared a small room, each nursing invisible wounds. At mealtimes, we traded whispered stories, betrayals, scars, survival. That night, as Caleb slept soundly, I wrote letters to family, to lawyers, to my grandmother. I allowed hope to stir in my chest. Meeting Anita, the pro bono attorney with a firm handshake and steel-lined compassion, gave me courage. She filed for a temporary restraining order and emergency custody. In court, Thomas's lawyer smeared my character, calling me unstable and neglectful. Anita countered with hospital records, photos of bruises on Caleb's cheek, and shelter logs. Behind the glass partition, I watched Caleb at Margaret's side, stacking toy blocks. When the judge granted the order, no contact, no visitation, relief and fear collided in my chest. We were safe, but our lives would never be the same. We moved into a modest apartment, a single bedroom with 2 windows facing the sunrise. I found work at the neighborhood bakery. Mornings were filled with the scent of fresh bread. Caleb sat on a stool, watching me frost cupcakes. I enrolled in night classes in child development. Every textbook page felt like a step toward purpose. Caleb thrived, his laughter returned, and he called our apartment the castle. I clung to his joy like a lifeline. Yet at night, nightmares stalked me, Thomas's silhouette at the door, his fist raised. I locked every window, kept a baseball bat by the bed. Freedom was precious but fragile. On an autumn afternoon, my sister Anna appeared at our door, suitcase in hand. She enveloped me in a hug that felt like healing years of loneliness. She introduced me to her husband, Louis, and their 2 daughters. Their mundane joys, birthday cake, soccer games, seemed miraculous after years of fear. Anna and Louis moved into a spare room, offering stability and unconditional love. Under their care, I laughed freely, rediscovered simple pleasures, and rebuilt the bridges to my past. 18 months later, a letter arrived. Thomas was appealing the custody order, claiming parental rights. My blood ran cold. I worked with Anita to prepare affidavits, therapy notes, school nurse reports, witness statements from shelter volunteers. The appeal hearing was harrowing. Thomas lounged confidently, his lawyer whispered in his ear. I stood firm, recounting every bruise, every lie, every fear. Caleb, now 6, drew pictures of our family in happier times, sunflowers, a white picket fence, our wedding beneath the wisteria. When the judge denied the appeal and issued a permanent custody order with lifetime protection, tears blurred my vision. Victory tasted bittersweet, our freedom secured, but the past forever etched in our story. We settled into a bright home near the library. I earned my certificate in child counseling and began volunteering at the shelter that once saved us. Caleb started 1st grade, bounding into school with a backpack too big for his shoulders. His teacher called him Eleanor's brave little boy. Evenings were spent at the park, Caleb chasing fireflies, me reading under a lamppost. Quiet, ordinary moments felt sacred. Years of healing and study culminated in my founding a nonprofit for domestic abuse survivors and their children. I hosted support groups, spoke at town hall meetings, advocated for stronger legal protections. Each story I heard reminded me of my own, and fueled my passion. Caleb volunteered beside me, handing out hot cocoa to mothers in need. His small act of kindness spoke volumes about resilience passed down through generations. At 70, I stand before a classroom of aspiring counselors, recounting my journey from victim to victor. I hold up a photograph, a young mother smiling under a wisteria arbor, a toddler by her side. The class murmurs as I reveal our faces, once hidden by fear, now shining with hope. After class, Caleb, now a young adult, offers me a plate of cookies he baked himself. He hugs me tight. "Thank you, Grandma," he whispers. I close my eyes, tasting the sweetness of our shared triumph. In the cracks of our darkest moments, light found its way, and in that light, we discovered our strength, our purpose, and our story. Your story is a testament to the unbreakable bonds of love and the fierce courage that rises when our most precious treasures, our children, are threatened. You've painted Eleanor's journey with honesty and heart, from the giddy promise beneath the wisteria, through the darkest nights of fear, to the hard-won dawn of safety and purpose.